A research team from USC is breaking it down, and in this case, that's a very good thing.
That's right. It's because they're targeting a rocket fuel, which can cause a lot of environmental damage if mishandled. But now, says the team, there's a fungus among us that can help. Jennifer Sabi is live at the Jet Propulsion Lab, and hopefully she can explain all this.
I can, Carrie and Pat. This is probably not what you pictured it to be, but this is rocket fuel, solid rocket fuel. Looks innocuous, but it's not, because the older it gets, the more explosive it becomes. So you either have to use it to launch rockets or you've got to get rid of it somehow. But getting rid of it is not so easy because it's toxic. If you bury it, it pollutes the groundwater. If you burn it, it pollutes the air. So what's a scientist to do? Well, one says, feed it to the fungus.
3 main engines up and running, 2, 1, and liftoff of this.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that launching a rocket requires a lot of fuel.
Rocket fuel we classify as a hazardous material.
But rocket scientists will be the first to tell you that rocket fuel is dangerous stuff, especially if you want to get rid of it.
It's very difficult to dispose it because if you age it for a while, it will increase the potential of explosion.
In fact, government investigators believe the explosion last year at Rocketdyne that killed 2 scientists probably was caused by the company trying to dispose of its explosive waste, including unused rocket fuel. Rockwell denies that, but there is no denying that disposing of unwanted rocket fuel is difficult, made more difficult by the end of the Cold War and fewer rocket launchings, which has meant there's more fuel laying around. And that's where Professor Tae-Fu Yen of USC's Environmental Engineering Department thinks he can help.
If we have any way to recycle those as other uses, maybe as useful material, maybe we can get some return or some dividends from the Cold War.
For the last 3 years, Dr. Yen and his graduate students have been breaking down rocket fuel into its basic components, some of which, aluminum for example, can be extracted and used again, recycled if you will.
We can use, for instance, aluminum. Maybe we can use it for other purpose, like aluminum pots, right? Aluminum pans.
What's left over, Dr. Yen has been feeding to fungi. The white variety are especially partial to the polyurethane binders of rocket fuel.
The bacteria would love to use that as food.
Give beakers of bacteria rocket fuel and the microscopic organisms convert the harmful nitrates into harmless nitrogen, a task for which Dr. Yen holds the microbes in the highest of esteem.
They are our friends because they render us free service.
A free service from fungi that could turn out to be priceless for humans. Now the USC scientists say they've proved their theory in the lab. The next test is to take the fungus out into the field and test it there, and with any luck in the next few years, one of the most basic components of life could be helping man with one of his most complex of problems. Reporting live from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, I'm Jennifer Sabi. How about that, Pat and Carrie?
Oh, we knew fungus was good for something.
Microbes are our friends.
That's right, they are.
Good.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Sure. Well, last year, the U.S., Mexico, and Canada signed an historic agreement, NAFTA.
But is it working? Coming up, find out if the trade agreement has been good for American workers next.